Hello, my name is Oluwadamilala Bright Ajayi, Bright for short, and I am going to be talking about the problems an IT company can face while trying to expand to other nations of the world. And before I go to that, I'm just going to touch a bit on the concept of globalization. Now, globalization is simply the integration of goods, services, and culture among nations of the world. And that is why a company can decide to go international, because of the concept of globalization, because of how the whole world is becoming a smaller village. Now, this video can be seen in different parts of the world, wherever I want it to be seen, because of some web based, because of the internet, and because of the fact that the world is becoming a smaller village and making it easy for companies to go and do businesses outside of their home nations. And so I'm just going to be touching the few problems that an IT company can go or can face while trying to expand into other nations, and we're going to be discussing the solutions to a few of those problems. The first will be infrastructural differences. Now, I'm from Nigeria, for example, and the infrastructure in Nigeria is quite different from the infrastructure here. A typical example is the outlets, electrical outlets that we have. Now, in Nigeria, it's about 220 volts that comes out of an outlet, but here in the United States, it's about 110 volts or 100 volts. And you can see that there's going to be differences in the technology that will be needed to, or that you need to work with if you're going international. Also, we have labor laws. Labor laws are different everywhere. Labor laws are not the same everywhere, and we are still on legal things that have legal restrictions. Some things are restricted in other nations of the world, and they are freely allowed in other nations of the world. There's also cultural differences that spans to customs, traditions, and languages, and covers all of that. But basically, what I'll be talking about is workflow communication barrier, and that's very important because that's specific to what I'm talking about. Every other thing, every other company can have all this problem, but for the IT company, they want to track their workflow and see what the progress is of every department and every nation is. And to do that, I recommend a cloud-based EPR system, that is Enterprise Resource Planning System, first of all. Now, that way, one will be Oracle, and that way we can have a unified system across every of the nation, across every of the company. And more specifically, to communicate our workflow, I recommend Citrix. Now, Citrix system. Now, the Citrix system is built in such a way that it has data from every can integrate into every database and integrate into every system and every application that the company uses. And that way, with Citrix, data can be shared, visualized, and analyzed, and everyone across the nation, the company across nations of the world can have access to the same data. They can also report their workflow using the Citrix system, maybe Excel on it, have an Excel sheet, have an annual report with this system. That way, the nations are not going to be alienated, but they will come together and be able to work together using the same system, the same Citrix desktop system, and using the same data across companies, across nations within the same organization. And that way, it would unify the company and make it able to work better and work together despite distance barrier. Thank you.